were shared with the colleagues. That is the old constitution that was being under review and the new draft constitution for members to look at. As I'm still welcoming you, colleagues, I'm cognizant that we are still having people on the waiting to come in. So I just, because we are, in terms of the notice, we're supposed to start at 9. So I think it would be better for people to be informed that as we are waiting, let's be aware. In terms of our current membership, as of today, the 12th of March, our membership is standing at 1,998. 1998. So in terms of our quorum, which is 10% of that, we are looking at 199 members attending. We are currently sitting on 113. That's the nice world problems. You know, when you've got a bigger organization, you struggle to get quorum, especially if people are not. And one of the things, the observation by the Constitutional Review Committee, it's again, you might have seen that we have tried to send out the notices quite often, because one of the observation by the Constitutional Review Committee is that this 60 days sometimes is too long. People tend to forget. I mean, the notice was sent out in February. Is it January? February? Yeah, February. Sure. So it's already 60 days. Some people have forgotten about it, but we have been trying. The office has been, in the last few, every 3 weeks, send out a reminder. And so can we agree, colleagues, that we would look at the numbers, and if we don't correct in terms of the constitution, we would adjourn for 30 minutes, and then we would then come back at the time that we would have agreed on in terms of the 30 minutes, and we would then constitute the meeting.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Roy?
But the waiting room is too long. I'm in the waiting room.
Can you see the waiting room? Yeah, in the waiting room.
Can you check if there are no members that needs to get admitted? Nothing.
Which voting? I couldn't tell before the girl we are on it.
I don't think so.
So, just put your password.
But maybe
Tells us something.
we
But master
fit
normally
to wait for CJE if then
Yeah.
there's no order, then we
It's on the old.
yes. Oh, we
Yeah.
adjourn for another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
In the end,
Hmm? 30 minutes. Yeah.
yeah.
But if we don't, then we adjourn for another 30 minutes. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Then only then you can start. Just leave it like that. Or read it. Colleagues, the numbers are slowly coming up, but as mentioned earlier, we would just wait for 30 minutes. As soon as we reach the threshold for the quorum, we would start. But if by 9:30 we don't reach the threshold, we would then adjourn for 30 minutes and reconvene at 10. But I'm hopeful, looking at the members still waiting to come in, that we should be able to reach the threshold. Thank you for your patience.
Good morning, everyone. Berenice here. Can you?
Good morning, Berenice. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Am I adding to the quorum?
Yes, thank you for adding.
Is this the first time we're meeting this year?
Berenice, we are waiting. Our current membership is standing at 1,998. I don't want to say it's a record because somebody might remind me that in 2002 it was. So we are waiting for 199. And I know that there are colleagues that might be joining from the same room. Can you please write on the chat if we are joining with somebody, so that we can also count those people that are joining in on the same device. We are currently sitting on 148.
What is
So
it?
we're looking at about 51. that still need to join for us to form a quorum.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Nikiwe.
Have other engagement at 10 o'clock.
Okay. Good morning, colleagues. The board, we are in the same room, so we have just discussed now. We are sitting on 180, so we're only looking at about 19 members. The suggestion from the board is that we start with this meeting, and we look at the constitution, we discuss it because members are here and you make your input, and then we would only adopt the constitution if we correct, if we reach the number, but so that because people have set aside time to attend this meeting. So, and I've already seen some mentioning that they might have to leave at around 10:45 and others at 10. So I would really, I'm putting this on the floor. Is there any opposition to the idea, to the proposal? I don't see any hand opposing the suggestion. Then we would then, maybe before we come to do we have any apologies? Any apologies? You can either write on the chat or you can speak if you've got an apology. You've received an apology from. We've got an apology from Erna Mostet. We've got another apology from Ingrid Thompson.
My colleagues and I are in the same Zoom meeting, so it's the three.
Can you, how many are you?
Three.
3. So we can add another 4. So now we are sitting on 189, 187. Right. Thank you, colleagues. There is no opposition. We will then continue. I'll stop sharing the agenda. we'll confirm the quorum as soon as, and then now I'll stop and then I'll share the constitution. Where is the constitution? Can you see the constitution, colleagues? It reads Constitution
Yes.
Amendment and Articles. Yes. Okay. Thank
Yes.
you. All right. Thank you. You would see that this was finalized by the Constitutional Review Committee during their sitting in January 2026 and is going to be approved by the Special General Meeting. We hope it will be today, but that's why we left it like this, because we're not sure if the Special General Meeting will be able to approve it or it will be approved later. Maybe I'll take this opportunity from the Liasa board side to thank the following constitutional review members who worked across the clock to make sure that we are able to have this Special General Meeting after our last AGM mandated them to conclude it and call the Special General Meeting. This committee is chaired by Professor Lefose Magashela, who is the president-elect, and its members are Ms. Leila Vahet. Can you mute? Ms. Ujala Satko, Ms. Anamari Kusen, Mr. Nazim Hadi, Mr. Tebogo Murajane, and Mr. Marupini Ramabina. That is the committee that was looking at this constitution. So when we send out the notice during the 11th of February 2026, we sent out both the old and the new constitution. So what I'll do, we would only concentrate where there were major changes. Some of the changes were grammar and cosmetic changes. The main changes, it will be those that we spoke about during the AGM on membership, and it will be those, the governance structure, the membership. You'll see in terms of Article 8 on membership, we only have 2 descriptions for membership, which is individual and institutional. But under the individual, you would then see later that the members have proposed the different categories. And maybe for the benefit of the SGM, we were having a SAQA, we had a meeting yesterday with SAQA representative, a senior manager, senior specialist manager at the professional bodies, Mr. Themba Mokoena, who advised us on the issue of membership. And I think the Constitutional Review Committee got it right. But I'll mention when you come to that. So you would see that on 8.3, it mentions that the above categories can be further divided as determined by the AGM. And you would see the recommendation that they then use to define the different categories. It's where then further divided, were taken into consideration when they drafted this. But I will skip it for now, because we'll come back to that, to the different membership categories when we come to that article. So in terms of article meetings, the cleanup was just on the initial set. Our old constitution was saying 12 months. And the AGM will take place within, the suggestion was that let's rather add another 30 days cushion, because you may find that like this year we have our AGM in October. There might be a situation whereby we have our AGM in September. So it won't be 12 months. It will be 12 months and a couple of days. So it means we will not be compliant with the Constitution. So to make sure that we were always compliant, that's why the committee suggested 13 months instead of 12 months, such that if there's an overlap by a number of days, we should be, there is a caution for that. And then the other major change was on the members, election of members, but I will not dwell on the people that are eligible to be elected, but we will just concentrate on when we come to membership, we will explain further the suggestion from the Constitutional Review Committee. So on the people that are elected, it's the president-elect who would serve 3 terms as the president-elect and another 1 year, another term as a president. So most of these an elected member shall, all of these were already there in our old constitution, so I'm not going to concentrate on them. I will just move to article of the board, which is Article 11, where there was some changes. Right, currently, right, the board will consist of 12 members, of which the 11 will be voting members who will be elected by membership, and 1 will be non-voting member. We will explain who's the non-voting member. If you look at 11.4, the 1 voting member is the Liasa manager. So he's an ex officio in the board. So these 11 members then are composed of the president, who shall be elected, and then you've got the president-elect, who would also serve as the deputy chair of the board. Then you've got 5 board seats that are held by sector chairs, as we have done previously. And then there are 4 seats appointed by the balance of the board based on the skills from the person nominated by member of Liasa as laid out in the rules. So you will see on the rules, we'll explain on the rules. There is a minor change from the previous constitution where people will do the nomination, but let's discuss it when we discuss the rules relating to the election. So it's the only change, it's that now we don't have the chair of RIMS of ARIC sitting on the board, because the chair of ARIC needs to be independent from the board. That has been removed. And then the other changes, mainly it was on the committees. The sectors remain the same. The committees, that is another where there was change. So we've got the executive committee. There was no change. We've got the finance committee. In the old constitution, we had the finance and audit committee. But in terms of the new constitution, we've got the finance committee that is looking at the day-to-day finances of the association. And then we've got an audit committee, which consists of majority independent members who are not members of the board. So we have separated that one committee into 2. We've got the finance committee, and then we've got the audit and risk committee, which is chaired by a suitably qualified and experienced person with accounting and auditing expertise. So you'll remember in the old constitution, it was saying audit and risk, it will be chaired by a chartered accountant. Working in the professional body arena, we have just realized that SAICA is not the only professional body for accounting and auditing. There are even statutory bodies for accounting and auditing. And so the committee felt important that we don't limit this chair to only people with CA, because now we are not recognizing either. So that's why they changed that to be suitably qualified experienced person with accounting and auditing. And then the nominations committee remained the same as from the old constitution. And then the continuous professional development committee remains the same. And initially, the ethics was also attended by this committee, but the constitutional review felt that it should stand alone, the ethics committee. So it stands alone, and then we then removed in the old constitution, we had an academy that was also playing a role in terms of the accrediting courses or quality assurance of the training of academics. That will then fall on the CPD committee and the ethics committee. So the academy was replaced by ethics committee. Those are the changes in the committees from the old constitution to the new constitution. There were no changing on finance. There was no changing on the rules. There's no changing on the amendments of the constitution. There's no changing on the dissolution. There's no change in terms of the name of the association. Now, let's quickly just take you through the individual members. Remember, when we're talking about membership in the articles, now on the rules we're mentioning which are those different categories. In terms of individual membership, we've got what we call individual professional membership. That is our current membership, the people that all of us, that we are paying the 755. Those are, and those police who also take the designation. Ideally speaking, colleagues, all of us who are qualified and qualified to have designation professional, we should all have the designation professional librarian. And if we are still not having that designation, we encourage you to contact Apelele in the office so that he assists you, so that you've got a designation. Yesterday, if I can tell you, during the Teams meeting, obviously when you join Teams, it writes your name, who are you? So I wrote my name, Charlie Molepo. The senior manager from SAQA asked me and said, Mr. Molepo, I don't see designation on your name. So you can see me today. If you look at me today, my name is Charlie Molepo, PLSA. So it's one of the most important things that we should really look into. So if you look at 2.1.1.1.1, this membership category may be additionally applied to be considered professional librarian. So meaning that all of this, that's what I'm saying now, all of us really, we should try and do what is mentioned on 2.1.1.1.1. Then we've got what we call individual general membership. That's what we are. If you don't belong to the professional body, and two, you may even not have the necessary qualification necessarily, but you want to be a full member of LIASA, so you are paying. So which I'm trying to classify, because there are individuals. You'll see later that if you take a certain designation, you don't have a right to vote. So if you want to have a right to vote, you then want to have this individual general member. So you want to pay a certain amount so that you have all the rights. Then 2.1.1.3, we've got the individual support staff membership. Remember, colleagues, this is the AGM resolution. that we should have this category and they should pay a certain amount, which can be determined by the board, recommended by the board after applying the mind and approved by the AGM. So the terminology that we're talking about we're saying library assistants. So the Constitutional Review Committee, when they bring their head together, they said, let's rather use this terminology is an individual support staff, because it could be support staff doing postal service, it could be support staff doing, but those are people working in the library that are at the general duties, that do general duties. So that is the category that was approved at the AGM. So now it's in the Constitution. They are going to have a different membership fee. I think it was implemented from the AGM. They're now paying, let me confirm the price. They're paying how much?
What's that?
350. The individual support staff member, since the AGM, they're paying 350. And then we've got, but look at 2.1.1.3.1. These members in this category may additionally apply to be considered for professional librarian designation if they are eligible in terms of the SAQA professional bodies. So, colleagues, we know for a fact that amongst the support staff who may want to pay 350, there will be colleagues who are qualified librarians. But because that's a post that was available, they're working as support staff, but they're actually qualified librarians. So they won't be able to pay the 755 as it is required. But if they want to take the professional designation, these people would then pay the full amount of professional librarians, and then they will be, that's why the 2.1.1.3.1. So they can, if they do. But if they pay the money of support staff, then they are not eligible to apply. So if you apply, you pay the fee. If you don't apply, you can stay. Then you've got honorary membership. It stays as it was in the old constitution. And then you've got the pensioner. It stays as it was on the constitution. And then we've got a new one, which is student membership. Student membership was not there in the constitution, but we had it on the membership form. So now, from the last AGM, now we have it in the constitution, and the amount, membership amount, will the board will recommend it to the membership to be adopted. Currently, there is a proposal of 150 without benefits. So meaning that if the student pays 150, is not eligible to have a t-shirt, is not eligible to vote, is not eligible. So those are, that is just to 100. Oh, 100, yes. So what it means that those students who join with 100 rands is just to cover the administrative cost of having it, because we need to have a certificate, we need to have, they need to receive this. They can attend the webinars, they can attend LIASA training, they can, but they are not eligible to vote. You'll see when we come to the election. So, but if a student wants to be voted or vote, then they need to pay the membership that is paid by other people who are eligible to vote. Then it comes to the privileges and rights. It speaks to what I was saying now. Because of these changes to membership, 2.2.1, it says the board shall review the annual membership fees for each category of membership and shall submit its recommendation for membership fees for approval by the members at every AGM. In doing this, the board will apply its mind to proposing reduced rates for pensioner, support staff, and student membership categories, but shall not be compelled to implement lower rates. The board will also apply its mind to reduce the rates for unemployed person as mentioned in 2.1.1.1 and 2.1.3. Honorary members shall be exempted from membership fees. Colleagues, you'll remember that during the AGM, there was a motion from members from City of Johannesburg, Mr. Skakane, to have a reduced membership rate for unemployed. Because we know now that with the new municipal staffing regulations, you cannot be shortlisted if you are not a member of LIASA for library positions. So the motion was put forward for consideration by the board because it came late and the AGM asked the board to expedite. So the Constitutional Review Committee have that clause then. So if the board come up with a proposal, it will present to the next AGM to say, can we have a certain fee for unemployed librarians? Currently, it sits on 350. So the proposal from the gentleman from City of Johannesburg was lower than that. So the board will apply its mind at the next AGM, they will come and present in line with this constitution. So the other things is termination is still the same as the lapse is still the same as the last constitution. Confirmation of membership is still the same. Registration is still the same. Meetings is still the same. I think there was a minor change on the notice day. Yes, 3.8. Notice of the AGM must be given at least 60 days in advance. The agenda, together with the supporting documents for the AGM, must be circulated to members at least 14 days before the meeting. So it changed from 30 days to 14 days. The motivation by the Constitutional Review Committee is that if you circulate it 30 days before, people have a tendency of forgetting. And then when you come to the meeting, they don't have those documents, and then we get delayed. We lose the meeting because people starting talking to have it, asking questions. But if we are circulating them 14 days, which is a standard meeting, 2 weeks is a standard time for circulating documents in many governance structures. Actually, is recommended in terms of King 4. So that is the only change from 30 days to 14 days. Then the other things remains the same. Now, the major changes again now with these new membership categories and with this new rate, reduced rates, the eligibility for election, voting, term of office, and disqualification, there were a number of changes. So we'll start with 4.1. 4.1 incites paid up individual members, except for student members, unemployed person who have been considered for a reduced membership rate, fees as mentioned in rules 2.1.1.1 and 2.1.1.3. In good standing, that is members who have paid up in full membership fee by the time of the closing of the voters' roll, shall have a right to vote, nominate, or be nominated to any office of the portfolio association in accordance with the criteria as outlined in Rule 4. So there it comes, colleagues. So if you are unemployed and you opt for a reduced rate and then you don't pay the full membership rate, then you must know that you are not eligible to nominate and you are not eligible to be nominated. But if you want to be nominated or to nominate, then you must pay the full member of unemployed, currently which is standing at 350. But if you want to have a professional designation, if maybe you are unemployed now, but you already have an experience, you were employed in the past, you want to apply for designation, then you pay the full amount of 755. Student membership and unemployed person who have been considered for a reduced membership fee, as mentioned in Rule 2111 and 2113, shall not have a right to vote or nominate or be nominated to any office or portfolio of the board of the association. All paid up institutional members in good standing have a right to send one representative to the AGM and have one vote to nominate a person. In terms of 4.1, institutional members may not be nominated to any office, portfolio, or board or the organ. So I know that there was confusion about institutional members because you are allowed to send 5 delegates to the conference. Then some people assume that you also have 5 votes to the AGM. In the AGM, you only have 1 vote. You can nominate 1 and you can vote using 1. So when you get your voting slip, you will only get 1. So I think it was not there. Now we are the Constitutional Review Committee is clarifying it here so that it's clear that as an institutional member, you only have 1 vote. And obviously, we can't vote for University of the Free State. It's not a person. It's not a legal. It cannot serve on the board. So you can't, and I can't pretend to represent it. There are no many changes in terms of the SGM. At such meeting, individual members, as mentioned in 4.1, can vote, and they can also send a proxy to vote on their behalf, but you cannot have more than 1 proxy. The election is still the same simple majority. The electoral office, there was minor changes also here. So in terms of the 4 months before the AGM in the election year is still the same. The electoral officer with the mailing list is still the same. The voters' roll is still the same. Closes on the 31st of May. And then the nomination form for president-elect, sector chairs, and 4 additional seats of the board shall be sent to members within 3 months before the AGM. So again, there was a movement to try and see to make it such that we do it closer to the AGM so that we don't have this extension because people have not voted. Sector chairs can only be nominated and be voted by individual institutional members as detailed in 4.1 and 4.2 who have chosen membership in that particular sector. Still the same as the previous one. The criteria for eligibility for nomination for additional seats on the board shall be determined by the existing board, may include experience, profession, minimum qualification, seniority as deemed necessary. Colleagues, this one differs from the previous one. The previous one, the nomination was happening, but the board, the existing board would then select from those members to fill in the gap in terms of the current skills of the board. So what happened with the previous constitution is that the nomination would only happen after the board would have identified that we need skills in finance, we need skills in marketing, we need skills here. And then based on the nomination for those skills, the nomination committee recommend names to the board for approval. And the board then approves or make other. The change now, the Constitutional Review Committee says, no, it should not be the prerogative of the board to select from the nomination list, but members themselves must elect. So here, you can nominate any person. If I'm in higher education, I know so and so in special library, I can nominate. So unlike sector chairs that you need to belong. So the only challenge, colleagues, the other thing that SAQA has stressed with us is that we need to, our transformation document, it must be living within the association. So our board must be representative of the demography of the country. Our committees must be representative of the demography. So one of the advantage with the previous constitution when it coming to that is that the board can be say, okay, we need a woman or we need a white person because this board in terms of democracy, there are more Africans and there are no white people. So you can say, okay, in the additional 4, we need a white lady or we need a white man so that it is representative. But now, if we do it this way, we are dependent on the members to elect, to nominate and elect the people that will fill the demography. We will leave it there. I think because we're going to election in 2027, we can test the constitution, and then the new board can then maybe make a proposal if it didn't help. Because the SAQA, come 2027, midterm review, they are going to ask to say, you've got a new board, why are you still 90% black? In terms of gender parity, the board look good currently because I think it's almost 50-50 in terms of gender. But in terms of demography of the country, it's almost 90% African and 10% Indian. We don't have white colleagues on the board. So those things needs to be, these 4 in our thinking was going to address that. But if members elect themselves, that's where the challenge is going to be. Because if they elect all white people, it will be all white people. If they elect all black people, it will be all African people. So we need to consider that. Right. So it addresses that each nomination would then happen. The other changes is that the quiz is still going to happen. The only difference is that is 4.13. The electoral officer shall send out an electronic voting papers with the names of the duly nominated candidate 3 weeks before the AGM. So what it means, colleagues, is that unlike previously where we had a nomination list and then we send it out and then people need to vote, and they voted and voted, there was a closing date, we'll have a closing date, then it was extended because people didn't vote. So the Constitutional Review Committee took a decision to say they are recommending that let's have 3 full weeks where people are voting so that at least it's a short period. Everybody knows that this is a voting period for Liasa. We vote in those 3 weeks. There are no extension. There's nothing. After the end of it, at 2 o'clock, 2 days before the AGM, the voting stops. And the counting starts. And then at the AGM, the electoral officer presents the results of the election. So those are the proposed changes in terms of the election. Right, in terms of the board rules, there's not much have changed. Vacancies, there was change here on the vacancies. So now in terms of the vacancies, when you've got, if Mr. Mlepo decides to resign as a president, we are not going to have, the proposal is that we don't have a, what do they call it?
By-election.
By-election. We don't have a by-election, but the president-elect, based on his responsibility, he becomes the president. And he retains the president, his president and president-elect. And I think we have seen it during in IFLA when the president-elect. So in that situation, the motivation was that because now you can't have a by-election for president when the president-elect is gonna come. But what was also mentioned is that he would then serve the remainder of the term, and then when his term comes to become a president, then he serves his term as president. Because really a president-elect, it's a president in waiting to become a president. So if he comes to a year earlier and then also two is that is the recommendation, because to try and run an election, it's a lengthy process, as we have seen, and two is costly. So that is the motivation, and the appetite for election amongst members is very low, you know. So, but if the position of the president become vacant, it's only then that we'll have a by-election to fill the position to be held. So, because remember, a president-elect is supposed to become a president. So, if there is no president-elect, it means when the term ends, we'll never have a president because there will be no president-elect. So, if there's a vacancy of a president-elect, we'll definitely would have to have a election to fill the vacancy. And then, in the case of the sector chairs or any other position, whether sector chairs or the other four nominated, if there is a vacancy, the Constitutional Review Committee is proposing that we don't do also a by-election because of the same reason that we have mentioned with, but the board can co-opt a member in consultation with the sector. And we have seen that with the current board, the current representative of the school sector and the current representative of the LIS education, the members themselves met at their meeting, formal meeting, and nominated these people to serve on the board. So this clause 6.3 speaks to a similar thing. So if we have a vacancy in higher education sector will come together and with the board, they will nominate. I think they say there is a hand. Yeah. Manda, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, President. I just want to have clarity. When you spoke about the elections, then you mentioned something about you cannot have more than one proxy. Does that mean if I have two people not attending from my institution, I can only have one of their proxies, so somebody else must take the other proxy? I just want to have clarity on that.
Yes, that's what it says. That's what they're proposing, Manda. But I think to a large extent that would have been a problem in the past because only people who attended the AGM were able to participate on the AGM. Now the AGM is hybrid. So in essence, there should be lesser proxies because even if you don't go to the AGM physically, you can still attend virtually. But in terms of the Constitution, yes, only one proxy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Then the sectors remains the same. They were just explained. The sector chairs, the 7.4. Remember, currently we don't have a structure. Tina went out now.
She sent an apology.
Okay. 7.4. Remember, currently we've got sector chairs only, and during last year's on the meeting of the sectors at the conference, which is going to happen on a Wednesday, the sectors then have elected their interim structures. They had an interim structure. Those interim structures now they are formalized. So in terms of 7.4 of Constitution, the sector chairs elected in terms of Rule 4 shall establish a sector management committee. The sector management committee shall compose of at least, so it means minimum 3 members, but not more than 10 members, through an open, transparent process. The SMC the sector management committee must be established within the 14 days of being elected. So what it means, colleagues, is that, like you did with the current interim. So after the sector chair the board has been constituted, within 45 days, the board must assist the sector chairs to, in a transparent way, nominate, agree. So between now and the next election, we are going to work on the remit of these sectors. So each sector will work on its remit. So if, let's say for argument's sake, special library sector, because it's a small sector, they may say we only need 4 members. And one will be a secretary, one will do this, one will do this. So that will be the sector management committee of 4 members. And the remit will explain exactly what they are going to do. And then after they've elected that person during October next year, 2027, within 45 days, they would then have a call out for nomination and then elect those 4 members. But public and public libraries sector, they may say we are big, we would rather have 10. They would do the same thing. Within 45 days after the election, there must be that committee. So that's what this 7.4 speaks to. It's a formal structure. People would be elected in a transparent way. And that was the request from sectors. Because remember, the current one, when we elected the sectors, is people who were at the conference. But the question was that, what about the people who were not at the conference? So now we're going to make it transparent and make it so that everybody, it's open, everybody can participate. If we approve the constitution. I think that's the only one major changes. The only thing that also changed is the 30 days. So remember, these committees, like we had indicated in the past, they don't have their separate bank accounts. Everything is done through the central bank of the part. They can fundraise for their own, but they would bank, and the accountant will keep their account separate, and they'll be able to. Because colleagues, we are an NPO, we need to comply with certain acts. That's why most of these things needs to be properly controlled. Property and asset, nothing changes. The language of business, nothing has changed. Colleagues, that brings me to the end of the main changes that have been done. There were a number of cosmetic changes in grammar, in using a correct language, and all of those, as you would see when you compare the 2 constitutions. But the major changes is the one that I've taken members through them. And colleagues, before I open the floor for discussions or comment and questions, I'd like to indicate that at 9:30, we were already collaborating with 199 members. As you can see now, we're sitting at 227. So this meeting is properly corrected and is an official SGM. I thank you. Colleagues, you'll assist me to... When you speak, yeah.
Then we can start checking others. But that's the
colleagues, we've got. I'm trying to open my Zoom. Yeah, I'm struggling. There's a first question from Bernice. When we're speaking of demographies, she wanted to know, when we speak Black people, do we mean on brown or colored people as well? Maybe colleagues, to we are not going to use, let us not use preference. Because my preference as Charlie, with my background, is that when I say black, I mean everyone who's non-European. That is my preference. But in terms of the government of South Africa demographies, which SAQA is an agency, we currently have got what colored, African, Indian, and white. Those are the demographies that are used by the government currently. So when we say it should be representative, we mean all those four demographies should be represented in an association. And it must be seen by SAQA that we have made an effort. So if for instance, the board is not reflecting that, we should be able to explain to SAQA, show them proof that these are the initiation we have taken. One of those include outreach. You remember last time I spoke about outreach. Going out to those communities, encourage them to participate. Mukhadi?
Thank you, Mr. President. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am.
Thank you. This is Mukhadi, PLSA 1647. Mr. President, may I request that as I'm going to ask this, you display on those membership category, in particular, the student membership. And good morning, colleagues. I want to see if what I'm asking might already been indicated there. If not, then I can ask on the student membership.
Okay.
Yeah. The one on top.
It's not it.
You were still on the document when you leave.
Yeah, it means I've removed it. Just quickly, give me time.
Okay.
I'll just quickly get it.
Okay, no problem. It's 2 something also. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to see what it says here, that student membership shall be accorded to undergraduate students in tertiary institutions who are not gainfully employed. And okay, because we most of the time receive people saying, because I am employed, but I'm a student, so can I pay the student membership? So it is clear, I can see now, because I wanted to ask that, to say you need to be should I say a full-time student,
Yes.
and not employed, so that it is clear that Mukhadi cannot come and claim that because I'm studying, I can pay the student membership. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I wanted to check on that. I wanted to ask further if there wasn't such clear indication.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
President.
Thank you. Any questions, colleagues? Contributions? If, is there a hand?
There's a question from Moses. He's saying, I saw that there is ethics committee when you were explaining the constitution. Therefore, my question is, do we have critical ethical code of professional conduct within which peer professional librarians to conduct ourselves? PLSA 1237.
Yes, we do. We do have a LIASA code of conduct, which is also due for review, in line with the new criteria for SAQA. And as we we have recently signed an MOU with the Premier of Gauteng with professional bodies. There are certain things that we felt may need to include. Yes, there is a code of conduct, and it's under review. I hope, Moses, you when we make a call, you will also participate in doing that. The Kennedy says, good morning, Mr. Charlie. I would like to know which membership is suitable for an individual who just completed their degree and doing honors degree and unemployed. Thank you. There was a feeling from colleagues that maybe we should also consider postgraduates who are full-time students. It didn't win the vote among members because the argument was that these people are already professional librarians. So they would lose benefits if they still pretend to be students when they are already qualified. Yes, they may be full-time studying, but already their status needs to change. So colleagues, maybe let me take 2 minutes. It's not part of this. Let me just explain what a colleague from SAQA suggested to us. We were asking about those people who have recently qualified, but who are not working, that in terms of currently, they cannot be professional librarian. So we needed a designation that we can call these people. In legal fraternity, they'll be called candidate attorneys. In other profession, they'll be called elects. Others, they will be called. So he proposed that we cannot have it as a designation in SAQA, but we can have it internal, in-house, where these people, we can call them, for instance, candidate librarian or junior professional librarian, whilst they are gaining the necessary expertise to become professional librarian. So, but it says it will be an in-house thing, it will be a category thing. So, Dike Lady, that would be the one thing that this board, because we only got this advice yesterday. So this one of a person who has finished their degree, who are doing honors, this is a person that you are looking at having a special category for these people. But you'll still be an individual member. We may still say pay a certain amount, but it will be linked to you being either a junior professor. We'll find the correct terminology in consultation with the members. But that is a suggestion from SAQA, because SAQA wants to see progression. They want to see one moving from here to here and from here to here. How do we recognize excellence? How do we recognize seniority? So you would see later that you are going to make proposal of the new designation within SAQA, but some of the designation will be internal, like we currently have with the pensioner and that. I don't see any hands. I would then, Dr. Bangani.
Thank you, President. If you can go to 6.1, that's rule 6, 6.1. Did you get that?
Yeah, 6.1.
Oh, yes, under the rules, rule 6.
Yes.
Yes, I'm just, trying to read this.
And I was just trying to think practically, you know, if the president is incapacitated, let's say within a few days or even few months or a month after the term, and then if we are saying that the president-elect now will assume, you know, the dual role of acting president and president-elect, won't it be more sensible? Won't it be more sensible if, let's say, the term has just started, for the president-elect to just assume the presidency and then to have, you know, to fill the vacancy of the president-elect? I'm just, you know, trying to think about it practically. I know in other organizations there is a similar thing. But you know, I'm just
thank you, Siviwe. I'll give the committee members an opportunity to respond, but I agree with you, because then that allows to fill in the vacancy of the president-elect as a vacancy. Then that process starts. So I'll open the floor for committee members that maybe we could look at that, whether we have a threshold to say if it happens within the first, it's a three-year term. If it happens in the first year, then this needs to happen. If it happens after 2 years, this happens. I'm opening the floor from the colleagues from the committee. Do we have a hand? Anyone from the committee? Prof. Yeah, Prof. Makgatlela.
You can speak. Okay, thank you. Good morning, colleagues. I think the main reason why we discussed this matter was because we were not anticipating such things. I'm sure you are coming up with something that we did not look at. But the main reason was the costs that are involved in having the by-election and also the admin work that goes through with the by-election. And as it was said when the president started, we are here to discuss with our member on how to make our constitution better. And such input can actually assist us to make it better for ourselves. So maybe that's a good suggestion, and maybe other people might want to give us another suggestion. But I agree with you that maybe we did not look at the time frame that it says that if something happens within a couple of days or months after the term of office of the president, then that we may have a problem. But we were just looking at if maybe we are left with 2 or 3 months or 6 months or even a year, then this is what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Siviwe, and thank you, Prof. Makgatlela, for the. So maybe can you colleagues agree? We are going to ask the committee just to work on the wording, and let's have a threshold to say if the vacancy happens within a year, the president-elect will become the president, and we have the by-election for a president-elect. So we'll just work on the wording, and then can I get the thumbs up from the colleagues that is the only edition that we're looking at currently? Or to be it much easier, can I find, is there a dissenting voice? I don't see any dissenting voice. Colleagues, that's what we're gonna do to accommodate the contribution from Dr. Siviwe. There's a question, is it possible that the Liasa conference registration fee can be reduced for those who are paying for ourselves? Let's probably have a discussion. I think it's for today, it's not on the agenda, but the board is here, it's hearing you. We will look at, they will speak to that. Probably they can communicate their response to Oscar. Okay, colleagues, I think with those comments and Bernice, what do you call a librarian who is employed but does not belong to Liasa because the person always uses finance as a reason for not taking out membership? There are people like that. We unfortunately, that's why the fingers are not the same height. There will always be people like that. So we don't have, we keep on advocating for Liasa. Pernenis, you would remember that without sounding, you remember that previous years, during this time of the year, we were struggling to reach 1,000 members. Struggling. But this year we're sitting, maybe by the end of the day, we'll be sitting on 2,000 in March. It has never happened in the past. So it's advocacy. So they'll come around, Pernenis. They'll come around. Colleagues, can we, is there still hand?
Yes, there is a comment. It's from Anonymous. It's in the Q&A. And I think it's a suggestion. Maybe if you can click on the Q&A. If you don't have it, I can read it from here.
Please read.
On the grammar changes, the table of content, can it be noted? It should have page numbers. Also, the preamble is part of the Constitution and very important. Can it be the table of content? In terms of Rule 6, can the vacancies be given a better term like vacancies in the board?
Okay. Yeah, thank you, colleagues. One of the, thank you very much. Yes, the document, if we approve it today, we're gonna take it for editing. So thank you, we'll take those into consideration. One of the reasons the committee felt we must not take it now is that if the committee, if the members reject the constitution or they amend, then we must take it again. It's a lot of cost for us. So the agreement was that if it's approved here, then we take it for editing and thank you. We'll take those into consideration when they are finalizing it. What is the name? It's Anonymous. Yeah, it's a pity. If we knew who you are, we would consult you. Last one. Greetings. Is it necessary to register for SAYS if you want to be a school librarian, even if you are registered with Lias? Colleagues, SAYS is a statutory body. It's a statutory council for teachers. So you cannot become a teacher if you are not registered with SAYS. It's statutory. It's an act of parliament, right? And Liasa is a professional body for librarians. So you need to keep those two statuses. The same with the nurses, the same with the doctors who want to be librarians. They will have the same with people working in the library. For instance, in my library, I've got someone who is who's training to become an accountant. He has a designation in cyber for accountants, but he's also paying Liasa membership because he's working in the library, so he wants to understand the library. So he's having two. So yes, for those professionals who belong to two professions, you would need to have those two designations.
There's an extension to a question. I think it's a comment that gives some posts.
Yeah, I think it's only in schools. They will never want it anywhere else. Only in schools. You cannot be a teacher without being SAYS. It's a statutory. It's an act of parliament. Colleagues,
there's a hand from
Kwena. You can go ahead. Unmute and go ahead. Hmm? Wena, who's the next one? You said there were hands. Who's the?
I think there's only one left.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, you can go ahead.
Yes. I wanted to, in fact, I needed clarity. You are saying there's someone who is going to become an accountant and it's registered as a member of Eliasa. So I wanted to know if you don't have a qualification, you can still be a member. And if you are a nurse, you did not complete your degree, you'll never be a nursing member because you need to complete your degree. So with us, it's different. It's different because someone who doesn't
No,
have a degree can be
yeah,
a
no, it's
member
not.
of
No, it's not
Eliasa.
true. Yeah, it's not.
Come again.
Yeah, what you are saying, yes. Thank you. What you are saying is not true for both nursing and librarianship. Let me tell you, nursing, SANC, South African Nursing Council, is a statutory body. Like says, if you are not a qualified nurse, you'll never become a professional nurse.
Yes.
But you can become an auxiliary nurse. Are you
But
aware
with
of that? No,
with
no, no.
different
Even without a
level.
diploma, you come today, they train you how to make a bed, how to wash it. You become an auxiliary nurse. If you've got a diploma in nursing, you become an enrolled nurse. You have white epaulets.
Yes, with such given example, then
You see
you-
that exactly that. You don't have a qualification. Even in librarianship, the people, some of the people who call library assistant, they don't have a qualification in library. But they work in the library. They shelve the books, they issue the books, they return the books, they process the books. They are libraries. They are our members. That's why in the Constitution, we've got them as a category. And in terms of our Constitution, anybody who is interested in librarianship can become a member of LIASA. The only difference, he cannot or they cannot be called professional librarian because that is reserved for qualified librarian. So it's different categories, like in nursing, you use an example of nursing, although it's a statutory body, but I was just showing you it's possible.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Tembile. It says, being a member of LIASA for me gave me a lot of information, which I was not aware of. Thanks for that. Colleagues, I think one up. Good morning. With regards to student membership and progression, you mentioned, President, would it be better that the student membership clearly states distinction of undergraduate, postgraduate diplomas, academics who are pursuing? No, because with the progression is not on an academic side. The progression is on the professional designation side. So one of the things that the board is considering based on the advice from SAQA, we are looking at having a designation called senior professional librarians. It will be a designation for people who have achieved a certain level in our profession. They may have occupied certain position in their field. They may be experts in their field. They may be people with certain experience. They may be people with certain qualification. So SAQA wants to see that so that people don't get the professional designation and then say, I have arrived. They must continue to excel so that so even with the student one, once you qualify, you are a qualified librarian, but you cannot be called a professional librarian because you have not practiced as a librarian, so you don't have the experience. So we're looking for that designation so that in-house we can say so and so is a junior librarian, or it's a candidate librarian, or whatever terminology we'll use. For that period, that person, when he applies for positions in different libraries, he will mention that I am a candidate librarian with Liasa, da 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 da. That's the difference. Tadi Chef.
Maybe before you proceed to the next one, I see the table is right there. So I don't know, maybe it's a follow-up question to what you are addressing now. Before then you can move to the RSVP.
Who is that?
The table is the one who posted. Sitabo, sorry.
Oh, Sitabo, you wanted to make a follow-up?
Yes, President. Good morning, everyone. Name is Sitabo, professional member 9002. President, I was mentioning these designations or the differentiation of undergraduates and postgraduate diplomas with regards to the matter that was raised when they were comparing the payments that a student would make. Because when I looked at the Constitution, there's a distinction or a qualification statement to say the person must be studying full time. However, I saw that through the discussions, there is a bit of a difference between a person who's completed their degree and a person who is still an undergraduate, meaning they've never obtained a librarian degree. So my question was based on that, to say, now when the discussions start to come to say, should these people pay different membership prices, wouldn't that distinction then have to be worded within the membership portion of our Constitution as well?
Thank you. We, as you would see, in terms of the fees, is not on the Constitution. The board will make recommendation to the AGM. The AGM will take decision. So the board is here, is hearing you. They will take. They would, when they make their proposal, they will speak to that. Koliswa, is there a link between RSVP for SALW in Pietermaritzburg? I would like to attend a physical event. Colleagues, there is no RSVP. Mr. Ntombela and Sunduzi Library, they said the hall is big enough to accommodate everyone. So you are all invited. You can come for the launch. Sunduzi is ready to host you.
Yes.
I'm doing this out of a favor because it's tomorrow, but it's today we're looking at the Constitution, but I think it's an important question. So I thought the board asked me that they give me an allowance just to mention this.
There is in the Q&A, I think it's a note from Nora saying, please point out that people cannot call themselves professional librarians only because they have a qualification, but haven't been awarded the designation.
Colleagues, it's quite clear. You can read it on the question but in case you are not sure, please reach out to Apelele. If you are not sure if you are a professional librarian or not, please reach out to Apelele. Really, it will be a sad day for me if we are paying membership to become a professional librarian, but we are not. Because your name needs to be at SAQA in what we call learner records, National Learner Records, and NLRD database. You need to be there. If you are not there, it means you are not a professional librarian. And you cannot use PLSA. So please, if you want to use the acronym PLSA after your name, please reach out to Apelele so that he can explain. We'll speak about it even tomorrow at the launch. We will speak about it when we come across you. Please, we implore all librarians qualified with the necessary experience, please apply for designation so that we can properly call you professional librarian.
It's an ethical issue.
Yes, it's also unethical for you not to, especially when you pay. Really, you are doing yourself a disservice because this database, it's a national database, it's a government database, it's SAQA. Next thing, you go overseas or you go somewhere, you claim that you are a librarian. They write to SAQA to say, do you have this person in your records? And they say no. So please, colleagues, let's do that. Do you have any other?
Yes, Press, maybe before you take Guguleto's hand, which has been up for some time, this comment is linked to what you were addressing. Well, maybe you might need an extension. It's from David T. What designation other than professional librarian applies to academics in the sector? They may not be practicing librarians in the SAG.
Yeah, no, it's professional librarian. By mere of them being academics, they are practicing. So it's professional librarian, and again, they would have two things. Apelele's email, they will write it down on the chat. It's there. Development at Apelele. Can we take that hand before we tackle that last?
Yeah. Guguletu.
Thank you. Good day, Chair. Chair, can I please have a bit of clarity? I see that the Finance Committee was taken from the Finance Audit and Risk Committee, and which was chaired by ASCA. However, now the change that you made. However, the Finance Committee is not designated in terms of who will be chairing it. I don't know if should that be left out, or we should also be governed in terms of who will be chairing the Finance Committee.
Yeah, thank you. The Finance Committee is chaired by a board member elected by the board to chair the Finance Committee. It's an in-house, it's something that it runs. They look at the payments, they look at the old treasurer. We used to call him a treasurer. Now it's no longer a treasurer, it's the finance chairperson. So the audit committee, the reason we've got a specific expertise we want is because this person is external and he needs to oversee that what we are doing complies with the good governance. And it's a requirement by SAQA and good governance in terms of King 4. But the finance committee chair is elected. Is there any?
Yes, maybe if we just scroll.
So in my case, my institution for 25 years, unfortunately, there is not much progress. I've been in the cataloging department since I started here. So I will be a senior professional librarian. Yeah, yes and no. Yes, if when we look at the exit level outcomes or the competency assessment, if you meet them, yes, you will be considered. But it has nothing to do with the number of years in a particular area. But let's say now you are considered an expert in cataloging. International, you get invited to provide, to talk about these things, then you are a seniority, you are recognized in terms of that. So based on the criteria, maybe, yes, may. So we will leave it at that. Carol, you are not muted. Can you assist? Can you?
I think there are two more. The others is in the Q&A.
Maybe let's address this one. Colleagues, again, I'll just ask you to Camilla, I'll ask you to reach out to Apelele, because Camilla says, I find it very difficult to fulfill CPD requirements. I cannot attend webinars because I'm required to be serving customer at a time. Could it be put in place that we attend recordings of webinar hours and get points? Yes, thank you. We'll take that with the CPD committee. Apelele is seeing it, but let's take it forward so that we can see how can we assist. And colleagues, the mistake we do, you don't get CPD points if you only attend LIASA things only. even at the workplace, if they send you for training on something within your workplace, please apply for CPD point with Aphelele, because I don't think your organization does not have other trainings that they do. When they do those training, make Aphelele aware and let them do it. But we would take it offline, and then
there's one.
we're left with 10 minutes, colleagues.
It's anonymous. I already have an answer, but I'm not entitled to give that answer. The growth in membership, can it be due to the MSR requirements and the influx of membership from Cape Town LIS staff?
Yes, it could be true. Actually, yes, they do contribute. But you remember that this rise in membership happened before Cape Town. Last year we're sitting on 2,300 and some odds. So yes, Cape Town did contribute, and yes, but if you look at the growth, it augurs well. The Cape Town thing augurs well for the profession, because the city of Cape Town recognizes that LIASA is a professional body and it is compulsory. So we must not view that negatively, we must view it positively. The same with the staffing regulation in municipality. Those are positive. And we hope Gauteng will follow in suit very soon after we have signed with them. So yes, that could be true.
The last one, it's from Masiala Rabotan. I have a concern about the title professional librarian. In a way, it gives a false narrative that there are librarians that are not professionals.
Yes, it's not a false narrative, it's a true narrative. If you are not a qualified librarian and have that experience, you are not a professional librarian. It's not a false narrative, it's a true reflection. If you are not qualified librarian, in terms of the designation, you are not a professional librarian. So it's exactly that. You are not. It's not a false narration, it's a true narration. If you are not qualified, you don't have the NQF level 8 qualification in librarianship and the experience, you are not a professional librarian. And if you have not applied for designation, you are not. This is in terms of the NQF Act. It's an act of parliament. NQF Act. Professional bodies is governed under the National Qualification Framework. So I'm sorry, it's just like that. So that's why I when I speak to people, I stress this thing to say we are not going to concentrate on what are the benefits of being a LIASA member. It's a professional body. We must we must respect our own profession. Maybe let's take this last one, and then colleagues, we need to vote because other people's may be leaving now at 11. Hi, colleagues. It's a pity because some organizations pay institutional membership. As a result, their employees do not qualify for professional librarian designation. Yes, please. If the organization pay for institutional membership, pay your own, colleagues. Pay your own 750. Budget it. When you bonus, pay your 750. Please, colleagues. Hi, colleagues. I just joined and not sure if I need to say anything. I'm not a qualified librarian, but oversee and manage the library staff since 2020. Is it Mary? Mary, can we talk? Because I want to find out how did that happen. Can we talk of maybe if you can put your email address so that we can see how we can assist you.
Okay, so I need to send you my email address, then we can take it from there.
Yes, please. So that we can find out how that happened and then how can you assist.
All right.
Okay. All sectors of librarians in the Western Cape are adhering to. Let's clap. Yeah. So colleagues, I think we are left with 5 minutes. Can we come to the stage where we are going to vote? I'm not sure if we have a voting. We've got. So colleagues, Apele will come and explain how are we going to vote. Quickly. We're going to run a poll. Yeah. And then, where is it? Here is the poll, colleagues. Click yes, I approve the adoption of the Constitution, or no, I don't approve. Can we all click on yes, we approve?
You won't be a researcher. Well, but it's not working.
It's not working. Can you allow us to be able to?
On my side, I did.
Oh, you did?
I'm
working,
Chair.
It's because we are a host, okay. So remove us as host now. We want to vote.
I don't have a card in my hand, but can I
On my
vote?
side, I vote.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. Yeah, it was me because I'm a host. I was not allowed to vote.
Yeah, 97%.
That's this one.
We're waiting for the 3% to complete to vote. We're sitting on 97%. Are we 100 now?
That's good. Yeah, they
Anything?
I'm
I'm sure it's
yeah. Let all two.
So far, out of the 163, 159, 98% say yes, even though it's still on. And then now it's 2% in terms of the no, which is 4 out of 165 who are against.
colleagues. Are the votes still coming in?
Yes, we are sitting at 165. We have a total of 169 in the meeting.
Okay.
So 165 have voted 98,
Yes.
that's 98%.
So 165, how many voted yes? One.
The total is 169, 165 voted yes. Or the results are there now.
Colleagues, there are the results. 98% voted to approve the Constitution. Right. Let's quickly go back to our agenda. Now
it's going to.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, colleagues. I think we have come to the end of our meeting. Thank you for everyone for making time to join, and thank you very much for for the engagement. You can reach out to president@liasa.org.za and president-elect@liasa.org.za should you require more information or you want to make any suggestion. Aphelele is your go-to person for professional designation. Colleagues, we need to take the professional designation. We need to be proud of us being professional librarian. Very soon the board will be sharing information in terms of the new designations, the one senior one and the one. What's this? So colleagues, this brings us to the end of this meeting. And thank you very much. But colleagues, now that we have closed the meeting, can I make this announcement? Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, we are launching the South African Library Week 2026. It promises to be one of the best library launch in Liasa's history. You can also join virtually via Zoom, those who won't be able to be there in person. But if you're around KZN, please come to Msunduzi Town Hall. We will be there. We are expecting the MEC of Arts and Culture to be there. Entleast will be there. Directors of libraries in higher education will be there. Msunduzi Library will be there. eThekwini Municipality Libraries will be there. So it's going to be a big event to launch this 2026 South African Library Week. And I look forward to see all of you, on the 19th, because remember, it's about reclaiming our knowledge and the future, and future is AI. So we're going to have a workshop on AI on Thursday, the 19th. Please, those who can attend in person, they can go, they can reply and they can RSVP and go to, it will be at the University of the Free State, but you can also join online. It's a workshop from 9 to 1 o'clock. Please, colleagues, let's make this, and there are a number of events by different organizations throughout the whole week. Let's support. Eastern Cape, they'll be having a three-day exhibition. Those who are in the Eastern Cape, let's visit the exhibition. It will be at the ICC. It's gonna be a very they will be showcasing librarianship, the services. And may I take this opportunity, those of you who will be able to be there, you will be able to see that eThekwini Municipality won an award, an international award. We will be showing a video and because they were recognized. And the person who won the award, colleagues, he presented the paper about this award that he has won. What he's doing, he presented it at Liasa and later joined a competition and won the award. So this award is linked to Liasa Conference 2025. So thank you, colleagues. Those will be there. We'll see. We'll play a video. And then maybe we'll also share the video on the Liasa platform. I thank you all. Thank you very much. Have a good morning. Bye.
Bye.